Hi, welcome to the video. I just want to share some interesting thoughts on Daniel's 70th week. If you go to the description below, there should be a Google Drive link to this PDF that you see here. It's an interactive PDF, and if you bring your cursor upper right hand corner, it'll allow you to download. So this here is the 70th week of Daniel. Now I'm one that takes position there are no gaps. Okay, there's no gap between the 69th and 70th week. There's no gap split down the middle of 70th week. There are no gaps. Careful study of text just does not allow that. But anyway, yeah. So here you have a daily calendar right here and a yearly calendar right here at the end of the 70th week. So this is the day of the crucifixion. You had a 3.5 days on each side, okay, and it's in alignment to the 3.5 years on each side. All right. So I actually have video. Explain the 1 day to 1 year ratio. But that's not what this video is about. So I'm just trying to share with you what kind of what you're seeing. So if we zoom in on the yearly calendar, the first day was in the Gregorian calendar, October 6, 26 AD, and then 30 AD is the crucifixion, and then 33 AD was the last year of the end of 70th week. So I want to just kind of go over the parallels between what happened this 7-year period and we fast forward later on, 40 years later, the parallels that happened, consummation of it all, to the 7 years during this 70th week. So, so you had the 3.5 year ministry of Christ, all right? And if we fast forward 40 years later, click on here to continue. So fast forward 40 years later, you had the 1,335 days of prophecy of Daniel 12. And what was happening during this time, the Holy Spirit, based on John 14:26, was reminding them, the Jewish people, that this is at the temple, okay, that the thing that Jesus had said during his 3.5 year ministry, okay. Again, go back here, 3.5 year ministry, all right. And so, and this was considered the refining by the fire, Zechariah chapter 13, 8 through 9, okay. Let's see here. Yeah, I will bring a third part to the fire. All right, and I believe this was also happening to the Jewish people around the entire Roman Empire as well. There's a refining fire taking place. So that's why you had the two different 42-month tribulations. All right. So yeah, so this was a period where the Jews who stayed the course, who were obedient to Christ, based on the Holy Spirit, reminding them things are said. They stayed the course all the way to the end, throughout the entire 1,335 days. And this would be a test by the Father of Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and the lambs. All right, this is the Father putting them all through the test. All right, and so testing the things that Jesus said. Jesus only, remember, he said, I only say the things the Father told me to say, and I only do the things the Father told me to do. So basically, the Father putting us all to the test. All right? And then, in the middle, you have, remember the Lord's Supper. Go back here, the Lord's Supper. That took place on the evening in Nisan 14 in the Hebraic calendar. And if you fast forward 40 years later, excuse me, the Jew had just finished fleeing the temple. This was that afternoon, and so by sunset they had finished fleeing. 40th anniversary, the Lord's Supper, right down to the hour. Okay, and that was the start of the 1260-day prophecy of Revelation 12:6. All right, so you have the 1260 days. So that was a period. So it looks back up 40 years earlier. The gospel went to the Jews during this period of time, right up until the second from the last day was the last day of the Jewish people which was on Friday, September 30th. Okay, one day later, the last day of the end of the 70th week, is all about the Gentiles, the Cornelius household. Okay, fast forward 40 years later, you have the gospel, the Jews who came to Christ, living the gospel. Alrighty, there are no Gentiles here in the wilderness. There are no Jews who denied Christ in the flesh in the wilderness. So they went from one extreme to the other. They went from dealing with all the Jews had Satan in them, denying Christ in the flesh, Gentiles killing them, worried about Gentiles killing them. Remember, the Gentiles wanted them to flee, and so those that did ended up getting killed anyway. Um, so they went from one extreme to the other. And so this is when it talks about the perfect comes in 1 Corinthians 13. At this point, I believe that was referring to the entire 1260-day period when the perfect came. There's no need to speak in tongues anymore. Remember, tongues is a sign for unbelievers, the unbelieving Jews. Okay, they had that history, tongues. Okay, so it's a sign to them. The Gentiles, yeah, they spoke tongues, but it was not really a sign to them like it was to the Jews. So there's no need for that anymore. Knowledge sees. There's no more need to learn. No, this was the final 1260-day period amongst the Jewish people that they had to be together before they were going to be taken off to eternity. Remember, Jesus said the house will be left desolate. Okay, so after the 1260 days, the house was left desolate. What does that mean? Not one single Jew, 100% by blood, was left alive standing after the 1260 days. Right? If you're 50% Jew, you are still standing. But you're not considered part of the house of Israel. Like Josephus documented all this stuff. He was 50% Jew, but he was still alive after those 1260 days. He wasn't there in the wilderness with them anyway. He was still at the temple documenting the things that happened. So, yeah. So anyway, so this is a very, very special time in the 1260 days. These were the last days they're going to be together. No more Gentile. I believe this is in Petra. Okay. This is not too far from Israel. That's where they fled to. These were their last days together. It was a very, very special time. They were sharing the love of Christ one another. Their experience the gospel is a max, the good news to the max. Very special time. So the last day was September 22nd, was Friday again. Again, go back to here. Friday, October 30th is their last day, or September 30th is their last day. Here, it's Friday, September 22nd, their last day, 73 AD, 40 years later. That was the judgment of the 12 tribes of Israel. Go back here, Acts 7. Stephen told God, don't hold this against them. So God could have just judged them all right there if he wanted to. It would have been right to do so, but he didn't. Okay. So now you have the judgment of 12 tribes of Israel. This refers to theft of gold, Zechariah 13:8-9. And test them as gold is tested. So that would be that last day. That's my understanding of it. Refine them as silver is refined. That is the 1260-day period. So refined by fire, refined by silver, testing of gold. Zechariah 13:8-9. Okay. So then, that was it. They were with the Lord. Okay. Judgment day. 12 tribes of Israel were judged. Then the house left desolate. And the day after, Saturday, is all Gentiles from here on out. You might have a little bit of Jewish blood in you, okay, but it's all Gentiles from that point out. So the promise to Abraham that he fathered to many nations took off on a wide-scale corporate level from that point forward, September 23rd, 73 AD, on with us to this very day. All right, the new heaven, new earth. All right. So, um, yeah. So the day Cornelius' household heard the gospel was the very last day of the 70th week, and um, that was the day after the Jewish people's last day. Okay. Again, 40 years later, after the Jews' last day, it's all Gentile from that point forward. So I I just thought this was interesting and share it with you. My thoughts. Um, yeah, so it's just fascinating piecing all this together. I still have a lot more to learn. This is a topic requires a lot of humility, not small doses of it, but a pretty large amount. So, yeah. So anyway, just thought I'd share this with you. Hope you enjoy the material. Hope you continue to enjoy your studies and have fun with it. And you have an awesome day. Thank you.